Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're cutting through some of that digital noise. We're exploring a topic that many of you, our curious learners, have probably bumped into online: eye health supplements. And specifically, we're really digging into the buzz around a product called iGenics. We've got this really insightful YouTube review from Savage Reviews that we're using as our guide today. It kind of promises to slice through the hype, and well, our mission is to unpack all of their findings for you. You've probably seen the marketing, right? Those really aggressive campaigns, the big claims about fixing blurry vision or even, making you see like an eagle. That's a bold promise. Our goal is to sift through all that, look at the marketing, the ingredients, the actual real-world experiences. We want to help you understand what iGenics is, if it actually works, and yeah, if it's really worth your time and money. We're going to try and get to the bottom of this for you. Okay, let's dive in.
Indeed. And the supplement market is just huge, isn't it? And eye health, well, that's definitely a growing concern for so many of us, especially with all this screen time. This source, Savage Reviews, it offers a really grounded perspective, I think. It seems to cut through a lot of that usual marketing stuff you see. It highlights both the, practical effects of using these things day to day and also the financial side, which often gets overlooked but is super important for your decision. It's very real world.
Okay, so let's start right there. To really get a handle on iGenics, where should we begin? Like, what exactly is it according to the source, and what are those big claims they're making?
Right. So essentially, iGenics is described as an AS formula eye supplement. Now, that AS part, the reviewer kind of implies it often points towards age-related support or maybe a mix of antioxidants and synergistic compounds, designed to work together.
Okay, like a category type.
Exactly. It's how brands often categorize these formulas for age-related concerns or just general eye wellness. And the claims, like you said, are pretty big. It's supposedly going to support your vision, reduce eye strain, which so many people feel.
Yeah, definitely.
Help with dry eyes, another common one.
Yeah.
And yes, even fix blurry vision and give you that eagle-like sight. The reviewer points out these are pretty grand promises for a supplement. Sets the bar high.
It really does. So what's actually in it? What are the ingredients behind these ambitious claims? Are we talking something brand new, revolutionary here, or more familiar territory?
Not particularly new, no. The ingredient list has what the source calls the usual suspects for eye supplements.
Yeah.
Stuff you've probably seen around. We're talking lutein, zeaxanthin, and bilberry extract.
Okay, I've heard of those.
Right, and they're not just generic antioxidants. Lutein and zeaxanthin, for instance, they're carotenoids. They actually concentrate in your macula. That's the central part of the retina for sharp vision. They act sort of like internal sunglasses, filtering blue light, protecting against stress. And bilberry, well, that has a long history, kind of anecdotally linked to night vision support. What's interesting, and the review picked up on this specifically, is that iGenics mentions 20 milligrams of lutein. And the reviewer notes that this is actually a decent amount.
Decent. Okay, so not just a tiny sprinkle for the label.
Exactly. It gives you a useful benchmark. When you're looking at other supplements, knowing 20 milligrams is considered solid helps you judge. It suggests they're not just like label dressing.
Okay, so we've got the bold claims, the familiar ingredients, maybe at a decent dose for lutein at least. But the million-dollar question for you, our listener, is always, does it actually work? And this is where Savage Reviews put it to the test. They shared their personal experience after 3 weeks. This is the real-world bit. What did they actually find? This is where it gets interesting.
Yeah, and this is where it gets really valuable, I think.
Yeah.
The reviewer went in pretty skeptical. They were like ready to roast this thing, as they put it. Didn't expect much at all.
Low expectations.
Very low. But surprisingly, they actually found some genuine benefits. Mild, yes, but genuine. They reported their eyes definitely felt less strained. That's a big one for screen users.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
And the dry eye situation improved, which again can be such a relief. And kind of remarkably, they even said night driving got easier.
Oh, night driving.
Yeah, these are tangible, sort of everyday improvements that could actually make a difference for someone.
That does sound promising, especially given the skepticism going in. Less strain, better dry eyes, easier night driving. Those are real benefits. But it wasn't like a miracle cure, right? They weren't suddenly seeing in 4K.
Precisely. No, and that's a really crucial distinction the reviewer made very clear. While the benefits were real for them, they were careful to emphasize it's not life-changing in some huge way. They explicitly state, and this is key for you to remember about any supplement, it's not magic, it's vitamins. Good vitamins, but still just vitamins. That really frames it perfectly. Their conclusion was basically that it was functional,
Hmm.
but definitely not revolutionary. It helped with some stuff, some irritations, but didn't fundamentally change their vision or fix serious issues. Sets realistic expectations.
Right. Manages expectations. Okay, now let's tackle the elephant in the room, the price. This is where the review apparently got a bit heated.
Hmm.
What did the source find about the cost? Why the strong reaction?
Yeah, this is a really crucial point for you, especially if you're thinking long-term use. The reviewer found iGenics costs $60. $60 for just 1 month's supply.
60. Wow.
Yeah. They call this ridiculous for eye vitamins, and they pointedly note they've seen entire multivitamin complexes cost less.
That really puts it in perspective.
It does, but here's the real kicker, the critical info for you as a consumer.
Yeah.
The reviewer explicitly says you can get the same AREDS 2 formula from other brands for literally half the price.
Hold on. The same formula. What's AREDS 2 exactly?
Well, the AREDS 2 formula generally means that established mix of key things like lutein and zeaxanthin, often with berry extracts like bilberry, those plant pigments widely used in eye supplements.
Yeah.
So they're saying iGenics isn't offering something unique ingredient-wise that justifies that premium.
Wow. Okay, that's a strong statement on the pricing. So it sounds like we're looking at a standard formula, functional maybe, but sold at a really premium price. Makes you wonder what the extra cost is for.
Exactly. The review's bottom line here is pretty clear. You're paying premium prices for a standard formula with fancy marketing.
Mm-hmm.
They did grant that the manufacturing seems solid, so the quality itself isn't necessarily bad.
Right.
But that price point is the real sticking point. When you can find basically the same active ingredients for half the cost, it really forces you to question the value. How much are you paying for branding, ads, packaging versus the actual product? It's a big factor for ongoing use.
Definitely something to think about. Okay, so beyond their own test and the price, the source also looked at what other users were saying. And the findings were genuinely split. What did they see in the broader user feedback?
Yeah, the user reviews are all over the place, which honestly isn't that uncommon with supplements, especially for subjective things like vision. The source found this clear split. Half the people are like, life-changing, I can see colors again.
Yeah.
Really dramatic, enthusiastic claims.
Okay.
And then the other half are expensive placebo, felt nothing. Just a total lack of benefit, feeling ripped off.
That's quite a divide.
It is. And it's not entirely surprising, as the reviewer points out, because eye supplements work differently for everyone. Which raises that big question for you, right? How much is real physiological effect?
Yeah.
And how much is placebo, or just our individual body chemistry? It really underlines that need to manage your own expectations.
That's a super important point. Individual results vary. Makes it tricky. And what about actually buying it? Were there any warnings or red flags for consumers if they do decide they want to try it?
Oh, absolutely. And this is critical advice for buying any supplement online, really.
Yeah.
The reviewer specifically warns about multiple sketchy websites selling this stuff.
Sketchy websites, like not official ones.
Exactly. Indicating maybe an unregulated market, maybe counterfeit products, who knows. They even mention that Scam Advisor is giving some of these sites low trust scores. That's a big red flag from an independent source.
Yeah, definitely.
So the clear recommendation is, if you're going to try this, buy from Amazon or the official site, not some random domain. It's not just about price. It's about safety, authenticity, protecting your info. Be vigilant online.
That is crucial advice. Always be careful where you buy from online, especially health stuff. Now, this whole situation, the big claims, the hype, then the sort of milder reality, it reminded the reviewer of something else. What comparison did they make to help put this in context?
Yeah, it was a pretty insightful comparison, I thought. They compared iGenics to those blue light glasses that were going to save your eyes.
Oh, right. I remember that craze.
Exactly. They said it has the same energy. It speaks to that trend, right? A promising idea gets huge traction, gets massively overhyped. Remember how those glasses were marketed like a miracle cure? The science kind of tempered expectations?
Yeah, the benefits were maybe more limited.
Right. And the assessment for iGenics is similar. Not completely useless, but massively overhyped and overpriced. Connecting it to the bigger picture, it's a lesson in spotting marketing spin versus actual utility. Lots of products promise the moon, but the reality is often more modest, yet the price stays high because of the hype. Healthy skepticism is key.
That blue light glasses analogy really hits home. Be wary of the hype train, especially with health products. So wrapping this up, what's the ultimate takeaway here for our listener? For someone who actually does have concerns about their eyes, what's the best, most practical advice based on this review?
The reviewers honest take is crystal clear, and honestly, it's advice that applies broadly. If you've got serious eye issues, go see an actual eye doctor.
Right. First things first.
Absolutely. It emphasizes that supplements might offer some general support or help with minor things, but they are not a substitute for professional medical diagnosis and treatment. They reiterate iGenics is not a scam, it's not revolutionary, it's just overpriced eye vitamins that happen to work okay.
Okay, so functional but overpriced, not revolutionary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It might give some relief for minor strain or dryness, maybe, but it's not fixing underlying medical conditions. Professional advice is always step one for real health concerns.
So what does this all mean for you, our learner, trying to navigate this world of supplements? We've dug into iGenics, the big claims, the familiar ingredients, the sort of mild real-world effects, and importantly, that premium price tag. We've seen how user results can be all over the map and learned those crucial warnings about buying safely online.
Yeah, ultimately, this whole deep dive just highlights how important critical evaluation is when you're bombarded with health claims. It's a good reminder, isn't it? Supplements might offer some support, but they aren't magic. And for anything serious, especially with your eyes, professional medical advice is just irreplaceable. Always start there.
And maybe here's a final thought for you to chew on as you go. In this age where, let's face it, aggressive marketing for health products is everywhere, promising the world, how do you personally figure out if a supplement offers real value, real efficacy? Or if maybe you're just paying extra for slick packaging and really strong claims? What steps can you actually take to make sure you're making informed choices for your own health, not just buying into hype? We hope this deep dive helps you think about those questions with a bit more confidence and maybe a more critical eye.